Okay, so we're diving right in today.
Right into it.
Yeah, to a feeling that I think a lot of our listeners probably know pretty well, which is that, like, gosh, my brain just froze up a moment when you're trying to speak English.
Oh, yeah.
Right?
The reboot.
The reboot, exactly.
Yeah.
So today we're taking all the insights we can from the Speak Up, How to Conquer Your Fear of Speaking English podcast with Sophia and Alex.
Love that podcast.
Yeah, it's so good. And I think our goal today is to give you like the most practical strategies we can pull out from those episodes so you can actually start to overcome this fear of speaking.
Yeah, and what's so cool about listening to Sophia and Alex is, like, right off the bat, they kind of knock you down a peg in terms of, like, oh, I'm not the only one that struggles with this.
Exactly.
Like, even they, as people who, host a podcast about speaking English, have these moments where they're like, oh my gosh, my brain just totally shut.
We're not even call them like linguistic freezes.
Yeah.
Which I think is such a perfect way to describe it. Because that's totally what it feels like.
Yeah.
It's just like everything just stops.
Yeah. Sophia talks about this moment she had in London, and someone asked her, how's your day going?
Yeah.
And she was like, yes, thank you.
Like a total...
Yeah,
just a total brain freeze.
reboot.
Yeah, and Alex talks about like almost having a panic attack, trying to order a sandwich.
Right.
Like the most basic thing.
The basic everyday thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so I think it is really validating to hear that even people who are so accomplished in English still have these moments.
Yeah, it makes you feel like, oh, okay, it's not just me who's like,
yeah,
struggling with this.
It's not just me who's weird.
Exactly.
It's broken.
And they go beyond just these anecdotes too. They really get into the science of, like,
yes,
why speaking English can feel so much harder than like writing an email or reading something,
Exactly. And it is really interesting to think about all of the things that your brain is doing at the same time when you're trying to have a conversation in English, right?
Like in real time, it's like you're searching for the words.
Yeah.
You're trying to put them together in a way that's grammatically correct, but then you're also trying to pronounce them correctly.
Yeah.
And then on top of all of that,
You're listening.
you're trying to understand what the other person is saying and like react appropriately.
And you're also kind of like hyper aware of how they're reacting to you.
Oh, yeah, that's a big one.
Right. Are they
Judgment?
judging you? Are they thinking, oh my gosh, their English is terrible?
Yeah.
Right.
It's like a performance.
It is. It really
With
is.
a live audience. And
Yeah.
that judgment and what, like,
Yeah. And that's what really ramps up the
the
pressure, right? And the fear. And,
yeah.
and I think, so many people get really stuck on like, oh, I don't have a big enough vocabulary or I don't know enough grammar.
Yeah.
But it's almost more that like performance element.
The pressure.
The pressure.
In real time.
And the feedback.
Yeah. Immediate feedback.
Yeah. And one of the things that Speak Up talks about that I think is just so freeing is like the myth of perfect grammar.
Yes.
Right?
The idea that, like, to be a good English speaker, you have to be perfect all the time.
100% accurate all the time.
Sophia and Alex are very clear that, like,
Yeah.
native speakers don't even do that.
Well, and they give all these examples of like,
Yeah.
slang
Yeah.
and like casual ways of speaking that are not
Text.
grammatically perfect.
Right.
Yeah.
But, like, everyone understands what's being said,
Yeah.
and the communication is clear.
So their point is like, your goal should not be to be perfect.
Right.
Your goal should be to communicate clearly
Exactly.
and get your message across.
And, like, that pressure just, like, melts away when you realize
Oh my gosh, yes.
that you don't have to be perfect.
Totally.
Yeah.
And I think that connects to this other thing that they talk about a lot, which is that like
Yeah.
Input versus output thing.
Input versus output.
Yeah. If you ever felt that, like,
Yeah.
you're listening to podcasts and you're watching movies
All the time.
and you feel like you understand a lot,
Yeah.
but then when you try to speak,
It's like pulling teeth.
it's like, where did all that knowledge go?
Yeah, where did it go?
Right.
Like, I know I understand this.
Yeah.
But I
And can't get it out.
Yeah.
And they have this great analogy of like, your brain is this huge storage tank
I love this analogy.
full of all of the English that you know.
Yeah.
But the tap
To let it out
is tiny.
is tiny.
Yeah.
It's like a trickle.
And so it's not that the knowledge isn't there.
Right.
It's that you haven't built up that
muscle
muscle.
to like let it all out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so I think that's so encouraging because it means that like,
Yeah.
it's not that you're not capable,
Right.
It's that you need to practice letting that knowledge out.
You just got to work that muscle.
Yeah, work that muscle.
Yeah.
Right. And speak up. Give some really great practical advice for how to do that.
Yeah.
And one of their first strategies is talking to yourself.
In English.
In English.
Right.
And I know that might sound a little strange at first.
Yeah.
Like, who talks to themselves?
But, I mean, we all do it sometimes, right?
Yeah.
Like, in our heads, at least. So
Yeah.
why not do it out loud?
Exactly. And so Sophia talks about how, like, she narrates her day
I love that.
in English.
Yeah.
Yeah. If she's cooking something, she'll talk about what she's doing.
Yeah.
And Alex is saying he'll, like,
Yeah.
talk about what he's planning to do that day.
It's such a good way to, like, practice without any pressure.
And what I love about it is that it's, like, completely zero pressure.
Yeah.
Right? Like, no one's listening.
Nobody's judging you.
Nobody's judging you. You can go at your own pace.
Yeah.
You can mess up as much as you want, and no one cares.
And you're using vocabulary that's, like, relevant to your life.
Yes.
So you're more likely to remember it.
That's such a good point.
Yeah.
It's not just like random vocabulary words that you're never going to use.
Exactly.
It's like the stuff that you need to be able to talk about your life.
Yeah.
And so I think that's so smart.
Yeah, it's like a private rehearsal space.
Yes.
For English.
And then they talk about using voice messages with language partners.
Oh, yeah, this is a good one.
And I feel like this is a really good, like, intermediate step between talking to yourself and having an actual live conversation.
Right, because you're still talking to someone.
Yeah.
But it's not like the pressure of
In real time.
a real-time conversation.
Yeah.
So Alex talks about how a lot of messaging apps like WhatsApp or Telegram have a voice note feature.
Right.
And you can use that to practice speaking English with someone.
And what I love about it is that you can re-record
Yeah.
as many times as you want.
If you mess up, you can just delete it and start over.
And no one ever has to know.
And no one will ever know.
Right.
Yeah, so it takes away that pressure of like, oh my gosh,
Yeah.
I made a mistake and they heard it.
And I think that's so helpful.
Yeah, it's a really good way to like...
And it gets you used to like speaking to another human.
Right.
Which I think is really valuable.
Yeah.
And then another strategy they talk about is reading aloud.
Reading aloud.
Which just seems so simple. Like, how can that possibly help?
But it does.
But it does, right?
Yeah.
So explain.
So when you're reading aloud, you're not just seeing the words. You're actually like physically making the sounds.
Right.
And that helps you develop what Sophia and Alex call like muscle memory for those sounds.
Yeah.
So they suggest like even if you just spend 5 minutes a day reading an English article
or a book.
Or a book, or like a transcript of something that you've listened to.
Right.
It can really help you get more comfortable with the sounds of English and like the rhythm.
And Sophia has this great tip, which is like to record yourself.
Oh, yeah.
Reading.
Love this tip.
Yeah.
And then listen back to it.
Yeah.
And compare it to like a native speaker reading the same thing.
Oh, that's such a good idea.
Yeah, it's like a really good way to see like, oh, okay, I'm pronouncing this word a little differently.
Right.
Or I'm putting the emphasis on the wrong syllable.
And then you can kind of like correct as you go. So I think that's a really good one.
Yeah.
And then moving beyond like individual practice techniques, Speak Up also talks a lot about the importance of finding what they call safe spaces.
Safe spaces.
To practice your English.
Yeah.
So can you talk a little bit about that? Like, why is that so important?
Yeah, because when you're in a safe space, you don't have that fear of judgment.
Right.
You know, you're surrounded by people who are either also learning English or who are very supportive of your journey.
Yeah.
And so you can make mistakes. Yeah. And it's okay.
And it's okay.
Yeah.
And Alex talks a lot about language exchange apps.
Oh, yeah.
Like Hello Talk.
Hello Talk is great because you're connecting with
native
speakers who are also trying to learn your language.
Right.
So there's like a mutual understanding and support there.
And then you can help each other.
Exactly.
Which I think is so cool.
It's like a win-win.
Yeah.
They also talk about online conversation groups that are specifically for like
language learning.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then even like hobby-based forums.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah, where English is like the common language.
Yeah.
So you can talk about something you're interested in.
Yeah.
And practice your English at the same time.
It's like a double win.
Double win.
Right.
Yeah.
And then within these safe spaces.
Yeah.
Speak Up.
Yeah.
Also talks about the importance of like changing your mindset around mistakes.
Right. Which is something we've talked about before.
Yeah.
But it's such an important point.
It's so key.
Yeah.
And they have this great line, which is like, every error is a clue for what to practice next.
I love that.
Yeah.
It just totally reframes it.
Right.
Right. Because instead of thinking like, oh my gosh, I'm a failure. I made a mistake. I'm terrible at English.
Yeah.
You can think like, oh, okay.
This is information.
This is just information for what I need to work on next.
Yeah.
And they even tell this story of a listener named Rafael.
Oh, yeah. From Mexico.
Yeah. Yeah. And he started just by ordering the same coffee every morning.
In English.
Yeah. And that's all he did.
Just that.
Yeah. But over time,
it made a huge difference.
His confidence grew so much.
Yeah.
And I love that example because
that's so relatable.
It's so relatable, right? Like it's such a small thing.
Yeah.
But it's like a consistent
and low pressure.
Yeah. Way to practice.
Yeah. And then another thing that Speak Up talks about that I think is really helpful.
Yeah.
Is the power of good enough.
Oh, the power of good enough.
Yeah.
Love that.
So what do you think they mean by that?
I think what they mean is like you don't have to be perfect to communicate effectively.
And they even talk about like aiming for 70%.
70%. Yeah.
Confidence in what you're saying.
Yeah. Like if you feel like you're 70% sure that what you're saying is correct.
Yeah.
That's good enough.
That's good enough. Go for it.
Go for it.
Right.
Because even native speakers
make mistakes
all the time.
And they talk about using escape phrases.
Yeah.
Which I love.
So helpful. So like when you get stuck.
Yeah.
Instead of just like freezing up, you can use a phrase like, let me think for a second.
Or, how do I say this?
Or
what's the word I'm looking for? Right. And those phrases do two things.
Yeah.
Right. One, they give you a little bit of time.
To think.
Yeah. To gather your thoughts.
Yeah.
But they also show the other person that you're like,
That you're engaged.
And that you're like trying to find the words.
Yes.
And that's so much better than just like
staring blankly.
Yeah. Or like running away.
Or being like, ugh.
Yeah.
You know.
Like a deer in headlights.
Totally.
Yeah.
And so I think those escape phrases are so helpful.
Yeah. And they even say like, even native speakers use them.
Yes.
So it's not like...
It's not a sign of weakness.
A sign of weakness, yeah. It's just like a normal part of conversation.
And so again, it's like taking that pressure off of yourself.
Yeah.
To be perfect.
Just be good enough.
To be good enough.
Yeah.
And then Speak Up also shares some really inspiring listener challenges and success stories.
Oh, yeah. I love these.
Yeah.
They're so motivating.
Yeah.
So they have their 7-day speaking challenge.
7-day speaking challenge.
Where you just commit to speaking English for 1 minute every day.
1 minute a day.
And they start really small, right?
Yeah.
Like the first day is just talking to yourself in the mirror. Yeah.
Easy peasy.
And then like the next day is talking to your pet or your plant.
Your plant.
And then finally it's like talking to an actual human.
A real person.
Right.
Yeah.
And they share this amazing story of a listener named Maria.
From Brazil.
Yeah. Who went from feeling totally unable to speak English.
Couldn't speak at all.
To having conversations with her neighbor.
Just from doing this challenge.
Yeah, just from doing the challenge.
Amazing.
And then they also talk about Liam from Japan. Who started by just ordering coffee every day in English.
Coffee.
Yeah, and like how much his confidence grew from that.
Yeah.
And so what's so amazing about both of these stories is that like...
They started small.
They started so small.
Yeah.
And they were consistent. And they didn't try to like suddenly give a presentation in English.
They just focused on like those little everyday interactions.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And I think that's what makes it so doable.
Yeah.
Right? Like anyone can do that.
Anyone can do that.
Yeah.
Just start small.
Start small and be consistent.
And be consistent.
Right.
And then the magic happens.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And then Speak Up also has these really helpful Q&A segments.
I love the Q&A.
Where they answer listener questions.
Yeah.
Which I think is so great because...
And it's so practical.
And like it really gets into the specifics.
Of what people are struggling with.
Yeah. So one listener named Diego from Argentina asked about...
The fear of being laughed at.
Yeah. Which I think is so common.
That's so common.
Yeah. And Sophia shared her own experiences with that.
Yeah. She told a really funny story about...
Being hangry. Yeah.
And like snapping at someone at a cafe.
But she also gave this really great advice, which was like...
Yeah.
Most people are actually really supportive.
Yeah.
And if they're not...
Yeah.
Like if they do laugh at you...
Yeah.
You can just be like,
sure.
Yeah, I'm still practicing.
Yeah.
But at least I'm bilingual.
Right. Which is such a good comeback.
It's
like owning it.
Yeah. And turning it into a positive.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And then another listener, Anya from Russia, asked about
thinking faster
in conversations.
Yeah.
Because I think that's something that a lot of people struggle with.
You know, you have the words in your head, but you just can't access them fast enough in the conversation.
Yeah.
So they suggested doing what they call speed drills.
Which
is basically like practicing simple questions and answers. And trying to answer as quickly as possible.
Right.
Without overthinking.
Yeah. And they even suggest recording yourself.
Oh, yeah.
For like 30 seconds at a time.
Yeah.
And just seeing if you can gradually
reduce your response
time.
Right.
Yeah.
And then they also talked about the challenge of translating in your head.
Oh, yeah. The translator in your head.
Yeah.
It can really slow you down.
Yeah.
So their advice was to try to start thinking in keywords.
Keywords.
Yeah, instead of full sentences.
Yeah.
So like if someone asks you,
Yeah.
what did you do this weekend?
Yeah.
Instead of thinking in your head,
The whole sentence.
this weekend I went to the park and I had a picnic with my friends. Right, you could just think
Park picnic friends.
park picnic friends.
Yeah.
And that can help you to like
Respond more quickly.
respond more quickly.
Yeah, and break out of that habit
Of translating.
of translating. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then speak up wraps up with this like really motivating final message.
Yeah.
Which is just that like everyone who is fluent in English was once a beginner.
Right.
And they use Sophia as an example.
Oh, Sophia.
She talks about how she remembers being so scared
To even say hello.
to even say hello in English.
Yeah.
And now she hosts a podcast
In English.
in English.
Amazing.
Right.
So it shows you that like
It's possible.
it's possible.
Yeah.
Anyone can do it.
And they end with this bonus tip, which is the 3-second rule.
The 3-second.
And this one is so simple, but I think it's so powerful.
Yeah.
So can you explain how it works?
Basically, whenever someone asks you a question in English or like says something to you, you give yourself 3 seconds to start speaking.
To start speaking.
Yeah.
And the goal is to just like bypass that inner critic.
That inner critic.
It's like, oh my gosh, what if I say the wrong thing?
Yeah.
What if I make a mistake?
Yeah.
And just get something out.
Just get something out. And they even say like you can use filler words.
Oh, yeah.
Like, well.
Well.
Or that's interesting.
Just to kind of buy yourself a little bit of time. Right? To think.
Without going completely silent.
Without going completely silent.
Yeah. Because once you go silent, it's like game over.
It's so hard to get back into the flow.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I think that 3-second rule is genius.
Yes.
Because it really forces you to just
take action.
And not overthink it.
Yeah.
So what do you think is like the most important takeaway from Speak Up?
I think the most important takeaway is that like communication is the goal.
Yes.
Not perfection.
Not perfection.
Yeah.
And that even small efforts made consistently can lead to
huge progress.
Over time. Yeah.
So don't get discouraged.
No.
If you're not fluent right away.
Yeah.
Just keep practicing.
Keep practicing.
Yeah.
Even if it's just for a few minutes a day.
Even if it's just 1 minute.
Yeah. And be patient with yourself.
Be patient.
Yeah.
And celebrate your progress.
Celebrate the small wins.
The small wins because they all add up.
They all add up.
To big results over time.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So for all of you listening, what's one tiny little step you can take today?
To practice your English.
To practice your English.
Yeah.
Even if it's just talking to yourself for a minute.
Or sending a voice message.
To
a language partner.
Or ordering your coffee.
In English.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just one small thing.
One small thing.
To keep that momentum going.
Yeah.
So we hope you enjoyed this deep dive into Speak Up.
Yeah. It's such a good podcast.
So good.
So many good tips.
Yeah. And as always, we would love to hear from you.
Yeah.
So let us know in the comments.
Yeah.
What resonated with you the most?
Yeah. What are you going to try? Yeah.
And until next time.
Happy Englishing.
Happy Englishing.